What if I told you there's a planet where it rains liquid iron? Or a world blacker than coal that's being eaten alive by its own star? Forget science fiction. Today, we are exploring the strangest, most terrifying worlds that scientists have actually confirmed to exist. These aren't theories. These are real places. Welcome to the universe's weirdest worlds, the real nightmares. 1. WASP 76b, the Iron Nightmare. Our first stop is 640 light-years away. This world orbits so aggressively close to its star that a full year flies by in just 1.8 days. That proximity creates a hellish environment. The planet is tidally locked. It rotates at the same speed it orbits, keeping one face permanently locked towards the star, just like our moon does with Earth. This means the day side bakes permanently at 2,400 degrees Celsius. If you tried to visit, you would face immediate vaporization. The heat is so intense that the molecules in your body would be torn apart before you even touch the ground. But the atmosphere is the real horror. It's hot enough to vaporize iron, which violent winds then carry to the cooler night side. There, it condenses and falls. You heard that right. On the dark side of this world, it rains molten iron. 2. GJ436b, the burning ice world. Next, we travel just 32 light-years from Earth to GJ436b. It's a Neptune-sized planet that orbits its star so closely that a year lasts only 2.6 days. The surface temperature hits a scorching 439 degrees Celsius, which should instantly turn any water into steam. But this planet defies expectations. The gravity here is so immense, far stronger than Neptune's, that it compresses water into a solid state known as Ice X. It remains solid despite the heat, meaning this planet is covered in ice that is literally on fire. As for survival, impossible. You would face simultaneous crushing and burning. The gravity would flatten you instantly, while the touch of the ice would cause immediate third-degree burns. It is a paradox of physics that you definitely don't want to visit. 3. TRES-2b, the darkest world. Now, let's drift 750 light-years out to TRES-2b, the darkest world. This planet is a mystery. Despite orbiting its star every 2.5 days, it reflects less than 1% of the light that hits it. That makes it blacker than coal, blacker than any acrylic paint we have on Earth. It absorbs almost all light, creating a world of pure shadow. The temperature sits at a suffocating 980 degrees Celsius, which is hotter than the max setting of any pizza oven. If you stood here, you would succumb to heat stroke in the dark. It is so pitch black that you wouldn't even be able to see your own hands melting in front of your face. The only thing you might see before the end is a faint, ominous red glow. The planet is literally glowing from its own hellish heat. If you are enjoying this existential crisis so far, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. It genuinely helps the channel survive against the void. Also, there is a new feature called Hype. If you want to really help this video break out, please go ahead and click that Hype button. It makes a huge difference. 4. HATP7b, the Jewel Storms. Moving further out, 1,100 light-years away, we find a place that sounds like a fantasy treasure hunt, but is actually a death trap. It orbits its star in just 2.2 days, heating up to a blistering 2,500 degrees Celsius. But the heat isn't the main headline here, it's the weather. The clouds on this planet are made of corundum. This is the same mineral that forms rubies and sapphires on Earth. Because of violent winds that whip around the planet faster than the speed of sound, these clouds don't just float, they attack. If you visited, you wouldn't just be blown away, you would be shredded. It literally rains gemstones here, but because of the supersonic winds, they fly sideways. It's essentially a global sandblaster firing ruby and sapphire dust that would cut you into a billion tiny pieces in milliseconds. 5. J1407b, the Super-Saturn. Now we arrive at a true giant, often called Super-Saturn, sitting 434 light-years away. This massive gas giant is about 20 times the mass of Jupiter and takes a full decade to orbit its star. But the planet itself isn't the main attraction. It is the rings. This ring system is 200 times larger than Saturn's. To put that in perspective, if J1407b replaced Saturn in our own night sky, its rings would appear larger than the full moon. As for the danger, it's not just gravity crushing you on the surface. The real threat here is orbital debris. The ring system is so incredibly dense and massive that it's essentially a minefield. A spaceship flying even millions of miles away could be pulverized by moon-sized asteroids hidden within the dust. It is a celestial meat grinder on a scale we can barely comprehend. 6. Kelt 9b, the planet hotter than stars. Our final stop in this category takes us 670 light-years away to Kelt 9b. This is the planet that shouldn't exist. It orbits a massive blue supergiant star so tightly that a year lasts only 1.5 days. This proximity creates a surface temperature of 4,300 degrees Celsius. That is hotter than many actual stars, like red dwarfs. The heat is so intense that the planet is literally evaporating, leaving a glowing tail behind it like a comet. The deadly reality here is unique. Atomic disintegration. It is too hot for molecules to hold together. If you arrived here, the water and carbon in your body wouldn't just boil. They would be ripped apart into raw atoms. You wouldn't die. You would cease to be biology and become physics instantly. 7. HD 189733b, the Blue Nightmare. We're moving into our second category of confirmed oddities, with HD 189733b, located just 63 light-years away. From space, this planet looks like a calm, deep blue marble, almost like a twin of Earth. But don't let that fool you. This is the ultimate deception. That beautiful blue color doesn't come from water oceans. It comes from silicate particles in the atmosphere. It is basically glass. The weather here is absolutely terrifying, with winds howling at 5,400 miles per hour. That is 7 times the speed of sound. If you stood on the surface, you would face the blender. The rain here is made of molten glass, and because of those supersonic winds, it falls sideways. You would be sliced into microscopic pieces by a storm of horizontal glass bullets moving faster than you can blink. 8. 55 Cancri E, the Diamond World. Travel just 41 light-years away, and you find 55 Cancri A. This is the Diamond World. It's a super-Earth. It is twice the width of our home, but 8 times the mass. That extreme density suggests a composition rich in carbon. Models show it could be covered in graphite and pure diamond. But before you plan a mining trip, check the weather. A year here flies by in just 18 hours, and the surface temperature is nearly 2,400 degrees Celsius. The danger here is crushing. The atmospheric pressure is thousands of times heavier than Earth's. You would be compressed into a paste the moment you arrived, then instantly incinerated by lava flows. It is literally a planet made of money that you can never spend. 9. PSRB 1257 plus 12 system, the Zombie Worlds. Now we venture much deeper into the dark, 2,300 light-years away, to the PSRB 1257 plus 12 system. These are the Zombie Worlds. Why? Because they orbit a corpse. Their star isn't a burning ball of gas like our sun, it's a pulsar. This is the rapidly spinning, super-dense core of a dead star that exploded long ago. Historically, these are legends. They were the very first exoplanets ever discovered. But visiting them is a suicide mission. The pulsar spins incredibly fast, blasting out deadly beams of X-rays and radiation like a cosmic lighthouse. The danger here isn't heat or cold, it's immediate radiation sickness. You wouldn't even need to land. Just entering the solar system would microwave your cells. The lethal zone extends for millions of miles. It is a graveyard system where nothing living can survive. Number 10. Gliese 504b, the Pink Planet. Let's lighten the mood. Literally. 57 light-years away sits the Pink Planet. At first glance, this world looks disarmingly cute. It glows with a deep magenta or cherry blossom pink color. But don't let the aesthetic fool you. This isn't a Barbie world. It's a gas giant 4 times the mass of Jupiter. The reason for its color? It's a cosmic toddler. This planet is relatively young and is still glowing from the intense heat of its own formation, radiating at about 237 degrees Celsius. If you tried to visit, the real threat is pure gravity. There is no surface to land on. You would sink through those beautiful pink clouds, heavier and denser than anything on Earth, until the immense pressure crushed you an empty soda can. 11. WASP-12b, the pitch black egg. We travel 1,350 light years to find a planet that is literally being eaten alive. This gas giant orbits so close to its star. A year here is just 1.1 days. The star's gravity is ripping it apart. The tidal forces are so extreme that the planet isn't a sphere anymore. It has been stretched into the shape of an egg. It's also one of the darkest known planets, absorbing 94% of all light, making it look like a pitch-black void against the star. If you tried to stand here, you would experience spaghettification. The gravity would pull your feet so much harder than your head that you would be stretched into a long, thin noodle right before the 2,200-degree heat cooked you. It is a doomed world, slowly spiraling into its own sun. 12. TRES. 4b, the puffy planet. 1,600 light-years out, we find a planet that defies logic in a different way. This thing is a monster in size. It is 1.7 times the width of Jupiter. But here's the twist. It has almost no mass. Its density is incredibly low, about the same as balsa wood or cork. It is basically a hot, fluffy ball of gas. Scientists love this analogy. If you could build a bathtub big enough to hold it, the planet wouldn't sink. It would float. But don't jump in. There is no surface to land on. If you tried to visit, you would experience the endless fall. You would sink through the puffy outer atmosphere for thousands of miles, falling deeper and deeper into the hot gas. You'd be slowly roasted as you fell, until eventually, the pressure at the core crushed you. It's a long, hot way down. 13. Kepler-16b, the real Tatooine. Next up is Kepler-16b, located 245 light-years away. You probably know this one by its nickname, the real Tatooine. Why? Because if you stood on its surface, you would see 2 suns setting in the sky. It is a circumbinary planet, meaning it orbits a pair of stars instead of just one. But forget the desert sands of Luke Skywalker's home. The reality here is much colder. Kepler-16b is a gas giant, about the size of Saturn, and it orbits outside the habitable zone. The temperature is a bone-chilling -85 degrees Celsius. The cause of death here is simple: freezing. Without a heavy-duty heated suit, you wouldn't be watching binary sunsets. You would be freezing solid in seconds. It is a sci-fi dream that would kill you before the credits rolled. 14 PSOJ 318.5-22, the Lonely Rogue. Now, we meet the loneliest object on our list, floating just 75 light-years away. This is a rogue planet. It doesn't orbit a star. It was likely kicked out of its solar system billions of years ago and now floats all alone in the void of interstellar space. That means there is no sunrise, no sunset, and no year. Just eternal pitch-black night. But don't expect it to be cold. This planet is still glowing from the heat of its formation, burning at 800 degrees Celsius. That is hot enough to melt aluminum. If you visited, the danger is pure disorientation. There is no up or down relative to a star. You would burn to death in total darkness, drifting in the void. 15 K2141b, the magma, ocean, and rock rain. Finally, we close out our confirmed list with K2141b, located 202 light-years away. If you thought the iron rain on WASP-76b was bad, this might be worse. This is a magma planet. It orbits its star so quickly that a year lasts just 6.7 hours. That proximity creates a surface temperature of 3,000 degrees Celsius on the day side. It is hot enough to not just melt rock, but to evaporate it. The oceans here are made of lava. This magma evaporates into the atmosphere, creating clouds made of rock. Huge winds then carry these rock clouds to the night side, where temperatures plunge to minus 200 degrees. The rock cools, condenses, and falls. The danger here isn't just the heat, it's supersonic rock rain. It literally rains boulders here. If the magma ocean didn't melt you instantly, you would be crushed by falling rocks the size of cars plummeting from the sky.